Hello, 31-Day Challenge participants. This is McKade Marshall here, just checking in with you and anyone else who may be following along. Today is day 7, so you should be entering into part 2, God is Always For You, in my book, Tasting the Goodness of God. And I just want to encourage you, if you've fallen behind, if you've missed a couple days in part 1, to keep reading, pick back up and keep going. And I know right now it's a brand new year and it's hectic and busy. So I just want to encourage you, keep on going. I'm so proud of you that you took a step of faith. So I just want to motivate you and encourage you, keep on reading. And I want to talk about part 2 really quick before we all start reading the next 6 devotionals. Part 2 is called God is Always Good. And the inspiration for writing part 2 of this book was a few years ago. I went through a really hard time in life. I felt like I was going backwards. Everything I tried to do, nothing worked out. And it felt like I was losing the battle against life, so to speak. And I began to really lose my faith in a way. And I didn't feel like God was for me. I even felt like He was against me. And once I kind of regrounded and got back in the scripture more and began reading, studying, and learning the Word better, I began to realize not only is God for me, but He's fighting my battles for me. And that's what this whole section is about overcoming and conquering and being able to do more than we could ever ask, think, or imagine through Christ. And so part 2, God is Always For You, I pray that in your own life, as you're reading along, that you realize God is for you. He's not against you. He wants the very best for your life. So just keep going as you read into part 2, and I just encourage you, last year I talked about Rocky Balboa and the analogy of God being Rocky Balboa and Adrian and our relationship with him in a boxing ring, and he's rooting us on, Rocky, Rocky. And I believe out there he's saying to the participants, all of you guys, he's saying your name. He's just chanting it over and over. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And the Lord is fighting for you. He is rooting you on. He desires to see you overcome. So as you read part 2, don't give up. Keep going. And I believe God has some special things in store for you in this part. So I love you and I'm praying for you. And if you haven't gone to the 31-Day Challenge chat board on my website, go to my website now. I'm posting every day. Just little thoughts for the day and questions. So go ahead and interact. There's several people signed up. So I'd love to hear from you this week. If you have any questions or anything, you can private message me, or you can type on the chat board. On the chat board, you can put your name if you're comfortable with that, and you can also make it anonymous. So go to the chat board. If you haven't been on the chat board yet, I strongly encourage you to go to my website and start chatting. So I want to hear your testimonies. I want to hear what God is doing. Tasting the goodness of God is based on testimonies. It's a testimony of my life. It's testimony on the other people's lives. And it's also Scripture, which Scripture is the testimony of men and women of God. And so our lives are built on testimony. So I encourage you, share your story this week on the chat board, or if you're following along on Facebook, you can share a little bit there. So I encourage you this week to interact and engage with other participants. I promise you, you will get more out of the daily devotionals. All right, I love you and I'm praying for you. God bless you guys.